Continuing on as we wait for the return of Jesus, which should be hopefully very soon. We just practiced our bow hold. Now we're looking at the opposite hand, our left hand, which for many of you is not your dominant hand. So I realize this may be the weaker hand, but you really want to hold it. At least when we're taught, you want to play on the pads of your fingers. I play more on the tips, probably because I hold my violin down like this, so it makes more sense that it's kind of naturally like that rather than like, you know, this. Contorted would be kind of difficult, so I've just like naturally done that for the years. Although playing on the tip is a wonderful way to get a different kind of sound and tone. And you're free to play on either. And if you notice, if you look in a lot of recordings, a lot of violinists will use both, alternating between what kind of tone and sound they want or vibrato. I do play with an arm vibrato, but a wrist vibrato is just fine as well. You don't have to really worry as long as you have one or the other. But I just kind of, you can use tapes when you begin. And the tapes kind of make a stickiness go on here. Usually people use electrical tape and you cut them. You can use a colored electrical tape. It kind of helps you to see properly where your left hand is. But as you play, you don't want to be doing this. You really want, almost like a keyboard, like you're typing on a keyboard, to have it very close as possible and very naturally as possible. Sometimes when I practice, I'll just have all my fingers there. I'll just kind of lift up, or without even using the bow, I'm just kind of getting a sense of it and across the playing of the four strings. Guitar players, good guitar players can actually teach a violinist a lot about how to play the violin. Because you see them doing their chords and their fingers just kind of go all over the place and you're thinking, how is this possible? You know, I'm just trying to do one scale. And they're just all over the place. But it's just such a great lesson for playing the violin. In all our little intricate passages, we don't really have to move our fingers a lot. And that's the biggest secret of the violin, is don't move your fingers a lot. If you want to do a double stop and your finger can just hit in between and not have a lot of pressure, then just go for it. You don't have to be perfectly, you know, okay, I'm going to just zoom in here and see how great this is, you know. If it just sort of narrowly hits fine and you get that string crossing in with both of it down, then go for it. There's no reason to be a perfectionist when it comes to left hand. Now, my ear has to be very attuned because I'm listening to the intonation, and whether it be sharp or flat, that finger has to be light enough to adjust either up or down. When you do play vibrato, you're going to have to make your note a little lower because your ear is naturally going to go to the pitch of the highest point of your vibrato, especially when you're playing in chamber music or an orchestra. That is seriously an important thing. If you hear yourself and you're in a group of violinists, it means you're playing a bit sharp or either flat so that you can hear yourself. If you disappear in that section, you know you're in tune. That being said, when you practice something fast, your practice tempo should be slightly lower than your performance tempo, because when you get on stage, believe me, your performance tempo is going to shoot up. And this happens with orchestras all the time. I see it all the time. When we're practicing and then you go to the concert, it's like, well, that was fast. We sure got out of that concert before 9 o'clock. But anyway, so your shiftings are going to want to be really, really light. You're going to want to use your ear, and don't make so much out of the shiftings. I know people and teachers, oh, there's first and third position and fourth. Yeah, in my head, I'm you know, going through those positions a little bit, but by the time you're thinking about them, they're already gone. So, like, sometimes you just have to rely on God and trust in God for everything. everything, and that includes every single note. And I would consecrate every single note to the Holy Souls, to the Blessed Virgin, to the Holy Face, to the Sacred Heart. As I said before, you will not suffer a day in your life